I'm reeling from the discovery that my spouse betrayed me with my son's 18-year-old girlfriend, and I've uncovered a web of his sordid secrets. For clarity, I'll use pseudonyms for everyone involved. I'm a 41-year-old woman, a stay-at-home mother, and my husband, whom I'll call David, is 48 and works in banking. We've been wed for almost 2 decades. We share 2 children, our 18-year-old son, whom I'll call Liam, a high school senior, and our 15-year-old daughter, Sophie. My kids are my entire world. Over the years, my marriage to David has grown lackluster for various reasons, like his demanding job and my own struggles with aging less gracefully than I'd hoped. Liam has been dating his girlfriend, whom we'll call Chloe, since their freshman year. Liam cherishes Chloe. She's his first love, and I've always viewed her as part of our family. This makes the situation I'm facing utterly heartbreaking. Last week, I caught a glimpse of David's phone screen, revealing a text conversation between him and Chloe, Liam's girlfriend. In it, she wrote something about longing for his steak dinner. I stood frozen, unable to process what I'd seen. I spent hours convincing myself I'd misread it, but I hadn't. Over the next few days, I found a folder on his laptop filled with explicit BDSM videos, pointing to a clear obsession with pornography. Worse, there were saved images of Chloe from her social media, nothing risque, just her in everyday outfits. But it was enough to confirm my fears. I began checking his phone whenever I could and uncovered more of their exchanges. I wish I'd never seen them. It happened by chance. David was using his phone, not actively on his messaging app, but when he swiped up to close his open apps, a habit he's compulsive about, I noticed the messaging app was still running in the background. It wasn't as if he'd left it open for anyone to see. He'd simply overlooked closing it entirely. That's when I saw it. The first time I read their messages, it felt like a blow to my chest. My hands shook as I held his phone, the screen glowing with words that cut like knives. It wasn't just the sting of infidelity. It was how they mocked me. David had taken the vulnerabilities I'd shared with him and twisted them into cruel jabs for Chloe's entertainment. Their texts were littered with vicious insults about me, comparing me to her constantly. He called me overweight and outdated, among other barbs, and Chloe chimed in with, "Ha ha," or LOL. In one exchange, he wrote, "Can you believe she wore that outfit last night? Looked like a meatball stuffed in a sock." Chloe responded with a flurry of laughing emojis and added, "She's so old she probably thinks it's still trendy." It wasn't just my appearance they attacked. They ridiculed my intelligence, my hobbies, the way I spoke. Words like tedious, stale, and uninspired described the life I'd built with him. Each message chipped away at the love and trust I thought we'd shared for nearly 20 years. In one thread, David wrote, "At least you're exciting. Being with her is like moving in slow motion." Chloe replied, "LOL, you need someone who can match your energy, not drag you down." It felt like I wasn't even human to them, just an inconvenience they laughed at while pursuing whatever this was between them. With every message, I felt myself shrinking, reduced to something insignificant. These weren't just careless words. They revealed how little I mattered to the man who was supposed to cherish me. Chloe, a girl I'd welcomed and guided, joined in his mockery, bonding over their disdain for me. The betrayal was twofold, slicing deep. I closed the app, the screen going blank, and looked at the family photos on our living room wall. The contrast between those joyful, smiling faces and the venom in their texts was unbearable. In that moment, surrounded by the echoes of their ridicule, I realized the man I'd married wasn't the one in those pictures. I was left wondering how often they'd laughed at my expense, how many times my pain had been their amusement. I'd always had fleeting suspicions or paranoid thoughts that David might be unfaithful, but I never imagined something this horrific. Last month, I found a pair of underwear in our bedroom that wasn't mine or Sophie's. I ignored it, naively convincing myself it might belong to Sophie, though that made no sense. Not only is David cheating on me, but he's betraying our son. I'm devastated beyond words, consumed by dread, rage, and shock. I'm overwhelmed by how to proceed, knowing action is necessary, but terrified of the emotional toll this will take on Liam. I don't know how to approach this gut-wrenching topic with him. No one should face a dilemma like this, I can't believe I married this despicable man. My mind began racing, realizing David's odd behavior started around the time Chloe turned 18 5 months ago. I haven't pinpointed when their affair began. He deletes his texts every few weeks, so the trail is limited. Was he waiting for her to turn 18 to start this? The layers of this nightmare leave me paralyzed with fear and confusion. None of it adds up. How did this happen? Am I so foolish that I let this unfold right under my nose? Liam adores Chloe, and the thought of breaking this sickening truth to him terrifies me. The damage to his young heart and mind could be profound. My heart breaks for Liam and Sophie, who are innocent in this mess. I haven't confronted David yet because I fear the ripple effects. I'm unsure who to turn to first. I'm sharing this not for pity, but to seek insight or advice from others who've faced such profound betrayal. Thank you for reading. I appreciate the overwhelming support. I'm sorry if I haven't replied to private messages. I'll respond when I can. I'm navigating a lot right now, taking careful steps in this surreal, awful situation. I want to clarify that keeping this from Liam was never an option. I only meant I dread the conversation, but it's a necessary step in my plan. I'm playing dumb for now, gathering as much evidence as possible to prepare for any outcome. I'm prioritizing my safety and that of my kids. I'll provide a detailed update soon, but your support has warmed my heart and made me feel less isolated. Update 1. My brother connected me with a tenacious, no-nonsense lawyer. I saved screenshots of David's conversations with Chloe, recovering 3 months' worth from his cloud storage. The chats were mostly flirtatious and explicit, filled with sleazy remarks and more insults about me. His call logs showed he speaks with her for hours regularly. I also found evidence of him using dating apps, with profiles targeting women aged 18 to 22. I screenshot his profiles and active chats with matches. I copied all files from his computer, revealing his activity on adult chat rooms and forums, plus significant spending on subscription-based adult content. Searching the house, I found hidden items, restraints, blindfolds, lubricants, and costumes resembling a schoolgirl uniform and a maid outfit. I took Liam and Sophie to my brother's house after picking them up from school. They sensed something was wrong. I carefully explained the situation, breaking down in tears. Sophie was livid, even more than Liam. I met with Chloe's mother and shared everything. She took Chloe's phone and provided me with their chat history, which, like David's, only went back 3 months, as if they'd synced their deletions. Chloe's mother said Chloe cried when confronted, claiming she and David are in love and that no one understands. She insisted their relationship only turned romantic recently, describing David as a mentor and friend beforehand. It's clear he exploited her vulnerabilities, likely grooming her from her unstable home life. I confronted David via a video call. My heart pounded as I clicked to join, barely able to steady the mouse. When David appeared, his face was flushed, hair messy and eyes frantic. He looked unnerved, sweat beading on his forehead. His voice was sharp and defensive, almost menacing. I tried to stay composed, saying, "David, we need to discuss what's happening." Before I could continue, he interrupted, shouting, "You don't get it. It's not what you think." He repeated context like a mantra, never clarifying what he meant, his hands shaking as he clutched papers on his desk. I pressed on, saying, "I've seen the messages, David, between you and Chloe." It was like I'd ignited a spark. "You're imagining things. None of that happened," he yelled, his face crimson, voice so loud I moved the laptop back. His rage was unsettling. He wasn't the man I knew. I tried reasoning. "David, I have proof. We need to talk about how to handle this with the kids." He slammed his fist on the desk, the camera shaking. "You can't take my kids. You're ruining everything." His words felt like a verbal attack. I stayed firm, though trembling. "David, calm down. We need to figure this out." He growled, "I don't need to calm down. You're the one destroying our family." His face was so close to the camera I could see the sweat. Fear gripped me. This wasn't just infidelity. His volatility suggested he could be dangerous. His repeated cries of context and denials were incoherent, laced with stammers. I refused to reveal my location, and he accused me of stealing his children. "I'm ending this call, David. "We'll talk when you're calm," I said softly. He shouted, "You can't just—" But I ended the call before he finished. He left abruptly. Staring at the blank screen, I realized this was more serious than I'd thought. His reaction wasn't just defensive, it was unhinged. I called my lawyer immediately, requesting a restraining order and temporary sole custody of Sophie. His aggression confirmed the need to protect myself and the kids. Sophie remains furious, especially at David and Chloe, and is now recalling uncomfortable moments when David interacted with her friends. Liam is hurting but composed, asking for therapy, which shows his strength. I'm proud of their resilience. They don't deserve this. Liam hasn't spoken to Chloe and may never do so. Both he and I are getting tested for health concerns, given David's apparent promiscuity. Chloe's mother says Chloe is threatening to run away with David, believing they're in love. We've informed the authorities. I'm determined to be relentless in this divorce, reflecting on how David's treatment has diminished me over the years, eroding my self-worth. I'm ready to rebuild and emerge stronger. Update 2. Thank you for the outpouring of support. It's been a lifeline. Some have accused me of fabricating this, which, strangely, is comforting because it feels so unreal to me too. I wish it were fiction. I've been focusing on others' pain, neglecting my own, which I'm trying to address. My emotions swing between fury and numbness. We're safe at my brother's, where his home's security system and sturdy locks give us peace of mind. David calls my phone relentlessly, but I'm avoiding him, letting my lawyer handle communication. He scares me. Liam and I got tested, and initial results are clear, with lab results pending. I'm not overly worried. Liam's therapy appointment is set for next week, which eases my mind. He needs a professional to help him process this betrayal by his father and Chloe, who was like family. He's withdrawn, internalizing his pain, and it's hard to gauge his thoughts. He's been incredibly supportive, asking, "How are you doing, Mom?" with a maturity that breaks my heart. He shouldn't have to carry this at 18. I see a mix of grief and resolve in his eyes, and it's painful. Liam wants no contact with David, who hasn't reached out to either child, a relief but also a wound. It's as if he can't face them or chooses not to. Liam's response to mentions of his dad is a flicker of anger or hurt, quickly masked. He said, "I have nothing to say to him," and left it at that. I sense David is panicking, aware that a thorough investigation could spell trouble. His demeanor on the video call, sweaty, frantic, unraveling, suggests a man whose world is collapsing. I offered Sophie therapy, but she's not ready, though she's open to it later. She's been talking to her friends about David, learning they felt uneasy around him. They described his lingering stares and hovering presence when they visited. One friend recalled him commenting on her clothing, like complimenting her leggings' color, and positioning himself to watch her. He'd ask about their social circles, probing if they were popular. I'm mortified they experienced this in our home. Regarding Chloe, I agree she's a victim too. Many have emphasized this, and I've done what I can to ensure she gets help indirectly through her mother, who keeps me updated. Chloe remains convinced she and David are in love, refusing therapy or medical help and trying to contact him. He's avoiding her and she blames me, believing I've taken his devices or am controlling him. Her mother's efforts to reason with her haven't broken through her delusions yet.